Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the Sound Off Signal webcast. Mark Riccio from Sound Off has joined us today to present information on Sound Off Signal's products and LED. He will provide history information, other information on their products, the features, advantages, and benefits. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. And with that said, I'm going to turn everything over to Mark.
Hey, thanks, Gina. I appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time out of their busy schedules today to join us in this webinar. And as was stated before, I hope that you all find what's being presented very insightful. And if any of you have any questions during the course of this presentation, please don't hesitate to interrupt and ask your questions, because we value your questions and providing you with answers and feedback. And with that, essentially this presentation is going to be in 4 parts. We're going to be giving you an overview of Sound Off. We're going to then be talking a little bit about LED technology and its features and benefits, and then talking a little bit about school bus market trends, where the market is going, and the data to back that up. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about Sound Off products and what we have in terms of new offerings. So with that, what we're going to do is talk about our company a little bit. Sound Off Signal has been in business for over 30 years, and we built our core business through law enforcement and school bus lighting applications. Originally, we got started by providing speakers for police motorcycles in the law enforcement community, and dovetailed that readily into school bus applications. And currently, we control about 65 to 70% of the market for LED applications lighting on school bus. The company has been highly successful and profitable. We've had 23 years of consecutive sales growth, which has been fantastic. We are an ESOP, which means we're an employee-owned company, so we directly benefit from the company's profitability and long-term success. I am part owner of the company, and we want to ensure that we're servicing our customers in an appropriate way and providing them with exemplary products and services. My organization, or my business unit, Sound Off Commercial Vehicle Products, was formed in the beginning of last year in 2013. So we became a semi-autonomous business entity, and I am now located about a mile away from our current corporate headquarters, and we are solely focused on providing LED lighting products to the school bus market. So I have my own fulfillment area, my own warehousing, my own administrative staff, and also sales staff. So we're dedicated to providing to this business unit. Our mission is pretty simple. We're committed to our customers to provide continuous improvement and on-time delivery of our products. Our employees, because we are an employee-owned company, our best assets are our employees. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of all of our employees and improving their ability to provide quality products in terms of training and knowledge base. Our community, our retired chairman is an ordained minister, and every year we contribute 10% of all of our earnings back to the community in the forms of charitable contributions. So, we feel that socially and environmental responsibility is a very important thing to the company. And also our strategic business partners. We have a lot of partners throughout the world. We do business in over 40 countries, and we have a lot of mutually beneficial relationships with business partners all over the world. And we leverage those to our advantage to produce superior products and bring very cost-effective solutions to the market. So Sound Off Signal's company structure is pretty simple. The mothership or the parent company is called ETI Commercial Vehicle Products, and it does business as Sound Off Signal. Sound Off Signal has 4 distinctive business units, the primary being, we call it red and blue, or emergency vehicle, and amber and white, which is servicing municipal. And these divisions service the police, law enforcement, and emergency communities, and also municipal and service, such as towns and other communities. This branch does business in over 40 countries around the world, and is pretty extensive. The next business unit is my business unit, which is Sound Off Commercial Vehicle Products, which I discussed that recently became semi-autonomous, and we're focused primarily on school bus. I'd say probably 95% of our business is dedicated to school bus, with some ancillary transit and commercial vehicle applications. The other division that we have is called Sound-Off Signal GSA, which is the General Services Administration arm of the business, and that's government contracts. We do business with all branches of the military and also the alphabet agencies in the government, such as the CIA, ATF, and FBI. And last but not least, we have Hilux, which is a specialty non-automotive division that's dedicated to outdoor LED lighting applications, and we provide those to Europe, South America, and Mexico. So essentially, our core competencies, we are an industry-leading LED lighting supplier. We manufacture only LED lighting applications that we've been doing so exclusively for over a decade. SOUNDOFF originally pioneered the introduction of LED school bus warning lights back in 2002, and we really pride ourselves on customer service. As I alluded to, we're a very engineering-centric organization, and we're constantly striving to evolve the product line in terms of design and engineering support, and seeking VAVE, or value-added value engineering, which constantly evolves the products, incorporating new technology as the LED efficacy improves, and also trying to provide more cost-effective solutions in the market to pass those on to our customers. We also have on-site testing capabilities at SOUNDOFF. We have a laboratory where we conduct all types of testing in terms of Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard requirements and Society of Automotive Engineering testing requirements. And we do also have an in-house photometric laboratory. So between all the engineers, from the top down, our CEO is an engineer. We have a very extensive engineering staff. We also maintain fluency in Spanish and also Chinese within the staff. And we also have an optical engineer on staff. So very, very engineering-centric organization. Another core competency are our strategic manufacturing relationships. As was stated, we do business in many, many countries, almost every continent on the planet, and we have a lot of really great partnerships that we utilize to our advantage and leverage to you guys in the market, bringing quality products at pretty competitive prices. And also our fulfillment. Here at CVP, or Commercial Vehicle Products, I have a fully dedicated staff to school bus for fulfillment of the products, not only on an OEM level, but also to the dealers like you on your level, to make sure that we're providing you with products in a timely fashion and at a very competitive price. And as was alluded in terms of our design and testing capabilities, everything that we do is engineered here in the United States. We do have value-added partners internationally that do manufacture the products, and we have independent testing laboratories through our partners that test the products. We then test the products here for validation internally in the United States, and then we also have an independent third-party laboratory here in the U.S. validate all products for Department of Transportation and Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. So you can rest assured that if you're buying products from us, that they definitely meet all of the required specifications for school bus to ensure that the products are providing safety for the kids on the bus. In the next section that we're going to dovetail into is regarding LED. Specifically, why LED and what really are LEDs? I don't know how many of you really know what LEDs are, but LEDs are a semiconductor material bonded to a wafer material, and it's manufactured in a substrate approximately 2 to 6 inches in diameter. And white LEDs are a gallium nitride bonded to a sapphire substrate, which is a semi-precious gemstone, or gem, which is cloned in a lab, and that's used for the blue and white LEDs. In order to get various color temperatures or different colors other than blue and the white spectrum, they add dye to these particular wafers to execute the different colors. In terms of the colored LEDs, they use a little bit different substrate, which is called Allen gap, or aluminum gallium indium phosphide, and that's bonded to a gallium arsenide, and that's used for the red and amber LEDs. This process is a little bit less expensive than actually the white, which is why typically you see white LEDs costing a little bit more than the colored LEDs. There is also new substrate being used, which is silicon carbide, and that's being used as a less costly substrate option, and they predict by the year 2020 approximately 80 to 85% of LEDs will be probably used for this type of substrate with silicon. So, realistically, LEDs are definitely more efficient than traditional light sources. So, for example, with an incandescent light, the luminous efficacy, or how much light you're able to project with the amount of power that you're utilizing, is approximately 15 lumens per watt. In a fluorescent light, luminous efficacy is approximately 45 to 75 lumens per watt, and a typical LED has very, very good efficacy at about 100 lumens per watt on average these days. Now, future trends point to the technology peaking out in the future to about 260 to 300 lumens per watt. So we can expect that for years to come, you will see more and more light output with less energy, which would translate potentially into less LEDs in the lights in the future, which means lower costs. The benchmark that we use for LEDs in terms of the evolution of the technology is called Haigh's Law, and that states that over a 10-year period, the cost per lumen, or the unit of light emitted, will decrease by a factor of 10, and the amount of light generated for the LEDs will increase by 20-fold. So essentially it means more light output utilizing less energy. And as alluded, through my parent company, SOUNDOFFSIGNAL, we utilize millions and millions of LEDs every year. And, in terms of the pricing trends for LEDs, prices have fallen by approximately 10% over the last 3 years and will continue to decrease as advances take place in the technology. And as you guys can see, too, in the marketplace domestically, you see LEDs being used pretty pervasively now in LED light bulbs for commercial use. You also see LEDs being used in televisions, and it's going to only increase in terms of the amount that's going to be utilized more and more in the market. So what's happening is you're going to have a higher influx of volume of LEDs being used, and you're going to see in parallel probably the cost going down as well as when volume continues to increase. So you're going to see that over the next few years. Over the next probably 24 to 36 months, you're going to see a bit of a drop in pricing. In terms of the benefits of LED lighting for school bus, first and foremost for us at SoundOff is safety. LEDs are inherently more brighter and visible than traditional lighting technologies. You have a lot more increased visibility with LED lights on a bus than traditional lighting technologies. We conducted a study through UMTRI, which is the University of Michigan Traffic Research Institute, and what we did is a comparison study between braking lights with a traditional light and an LED light, and we found that individuals will actually apply their brake about 250 milliseconds faster with an LED than they will with a traditional light. Now, 250 seconds really doesn't sound like a lot, but when you translate that into the fact if you're following the bus at 55 miles an hour, that 250 milliseconds equates to an additional 22 feet of stopping distance behind the rear of the bus, which is a huge margin of safety. So it does prevent a lot of rear-end collisions in terms of providing that extra buffer zone in the rear of the bus. Another thing that LEDs provide is low amp draw, or less wear and tear on the electrical system. As stated before, you're utilizing less energy for greater light output. And for those of you that have replaced any bus alternators lately, you definitely know what I'm talking about with electrical wear and tear. They're extremely expensive to replace, and they cost a lot of money. With low amp draw as well, you can add other products such as a bus light monitor, an anti-theft device, or an ignition security system without any detrimental effect to the bus. The best illustration I can give, I guess, for low amp draw would be battery drain. If you could picture a bus on the side of the road, on the side of the highway, broken down with its hazards lights running all night, with a low voltage application such as LED, you're going to be able to run those hazards all night, and the bus is going to be able to be seen and be very visually apparent on the side of the highway. Now, if you have a traditional lighting system, you're probably going to drain that battery out, and over the course of time, probably in the middle of the night, you're going to have a dead bus on the side of the road, which is a major road hazard. So definitely low amp draw is very, very good. So continuing on to the next slide, probably for all of you guys, the most important thing that you hear about in terms of being a dealer and selling to your end users is cost or price. You probably hear that more than anything else. Well, we did a cost analysis of a traditional lighting fleet down in Kentucky. They had over 200 buses that were non-LED, and we tracked these guys for a year. And we found that, through all the materials and service calls and all the repairs associated with these buses, strictly tied to replacing the bulbs or traditional lights, totaled out to about $15,000 a year, which kind of blew us away as a hidden cost, and definitely blew the customer away down in Kentucky. They had no idea that they were spending this much money per year changing out light bulbs. When we really calculated out all the overtime with all the mechanics and the benefits that they were being paid, strictly tied to the application process for replacing these bulbs, it was actually about $60,000 in hidden costs overall. So it was a substantial amount of money. So if you're hearing out in the field that LED technology is much more expensive than traditional lighting technology, on the front end it may be from a purchasing standpoint, but over the long term, and really the total cost ownership of the bus over its lifetime from a maintenance cost savings perspective, you may want to educate your end user customers that it may make more sense to implement LED technology versus traditional incandescent or halogen. And just to illustrate that even further, on the next slide, if you take a look at a typical 1157 incandescent bulb, the amperage draw on that particular bulb is about over 2 amps, and its rated life is about 1,200 to 5,000 hours. Can you advance the slide, please?
Yep.
Thank you. Perfect. 1157 incandescent. There you go. So for an 1157 incandescent bulb, as I said, you're drawing over 2 amps, and your rated life is 1,200 to 5,000 hours. The way that the bulb is designed with its filament, it's very susceptible to vibration on the bus, so that's why you have a very, very low life expectancy in terms of hours for this particular type of light. If you advance to the next slide, and you can see that the 3157 incandescent bulb has about the same type of lifespan as the traditional 1157 in terms of its hours. And then if you look at the halogen H3 bulb, that burns a little bit brighter than a traditional incandescent. However, its average rated life is only about 150 hours, so it burns much brighter, but your life expectancy of a halogen bulb is far, far less. If you compare that with an LED light, such as the SOUNDOFF 7-inch LED warning light, which you'll see on the next slide, we're drawing at the most about 0.6 to 1.6 amps, depending on its flash mode. And the rated life of our product is 50,000 hours, and we carry a 5-year warranty with that product. So you're going to get a far, far, far much greater life out of an LED lighting product than you are a traditional lighting product. And to further illustrate that, for example, you have the stop-tail turn light, where we're drawing about 1/10 of an amp to 2/10 of an amp, and the rating on that is about 50,000 hours. And the reverse light, you're drawing less than 1/2 of 1 amp. And then for our marker lights, you're drawing about 1/2 of an amp as well. So less than, actually 5/100ths of an amp. So very, very, very minuscule amount of electrical draw on your system, which is going to be less wear and tear. So moving on into school bus market trends. Can you advance to school bus market trends, please?
Got it.
Thank you. So this next section, well, does anyone have any questions so far about what's been discussed?
I'm good.
You good? Everybody good? So the next section, guys, we're going to talk more in generalities. This is about school bus market trends, and essentially we're going to be talking about where we see the market headed in terms of new school bus technology, from green energy, total cost of ownership, where we see LED lighting penetration, and how many school buses are being manufactured on an annual basis. So can you advance to school bus industry trends, Gina?
It should be there.
Perfect.
Sorry.
What we're seeing now in the market, guys, is what's a real hot button is total cost of ownership, or TCO. You've probably been fairly well acquainted with this in your dealings with Bluebird, which is total cost of ownership over the life of a bus. And as we all know, the average life expectancy of a bus in the United States is approximately 15 years. So not only are people now interested in how much they're spending up front for the bus for its initial cost, but also how much are they going to be paying over the total life of the bus. And LEDs, as were illustrated previously, really factor into that total cost of ownership in regards to maintenance cost savings, which is definitely something to be considered. Another thing that we're seeing in the market is a demand for greener school buses and alternative fuel technologies. As you guys are aware, CNG's been around, or compressed natural gas, has been an incumbent in the market for approximately 20 years, but propane has definitely come on strong and is the latest addition in the market. As you guys know through Bluebird, they've done a wonderful job of introducing the propane bus into the market, and these buses actually produce 20% less NO2 and 12% less CO2 than gas and diesel. So it's definitely a cleaner, greener alternative. And also, propane, over 90% of propane used in the U.S. is domestically produced. So that gives us the advantage of having a supply here domestically and not being dependent on foreign alternative energy sources. So it's very good. Another trend that we're seeing in the market is 100% electric is gaining traction as well. In the market right now, in terms of the alternative fuel offerings available, you have the Bluebird All-American RE, which has the CNG and the Vision propane. Microbird has a propane unit that they've been pretty successful with. Thomas is coming out with a propane unit this fall and late summer. And TransTech has a Type A electric bus, and Collins has a Type A CNG, which they're going to be releasing in the fall of this year. And a newcomer to the block is a Canadian company called Lion Bus, and they're investing over $1 million for 100% electric, and they're going to be going live with that at the end of the summer with a prototype. And they expect that they're going to probably have about 2,000 of these buses in the market over the next 10 years. So, people are definitely, thinking more green in terms of, alternative fuel technologies, and LEDs definitely, play a greater role in this as well. In terms of, using less energy consumption, being a safer product, and our products are also RoHS compliant, meaning they don't have any heavy metals such as mercury or internal vapors that could be harmful to the environment. On the next slide, we're illustrating here North American school bus sales over the last few years in terms of trends. And what we're seeing is definitely a resurgence in the amount of bus builds that are being built per year. Everything troughed out, as you can see, based on this data back in 2011 with the economy. And as you can see, every year we've seen a resurgence. And it's our estimation that this year, between the U.S. and Canada, we're going to see a combined build of close to about 38,000 to 40,000 units, which is great. That'll translate not only to new bus builds, but also in the long term for you guys. You're going to have more buses out there in the market that you're going to have more spare parts needs for in the future. So, very good trend. The next slide illustrates LED lighting penetration in the market, where we see it. As you can see, penetration has been steadily increasing over the last few years, and currently approximately 33% of all buses have LED that are brand new rolling off the assembly lines. And we see this changing as an increase in the market. We're gaining approximately 1 to 4 percentage points in the market every year. So as the trends continue, we're going to see LED being used more and more on school bus until it overtakes traditional lights, and it will become the standard. We foresee that in the next few years in terms of an occurrence, or what's going to be happening very, very soon. So definitely another great trend for LED lighting. And for a general trend on the next slide as well, U.S. school districts are buying more new buses. If you look at this data, you can definitely see that people are spending more money to buy more new buses. If you look at this particular pie chart on the next slide, 65.6% purchased more same of the number of buses this year when this was conducted from 2013 data versus 57.6% in 2012. And we predict that you'll see similar numbers increasing 2014 versus 2013 as well, which bodes well for everyone in terms of new bus builds again and aftermarket part sales. Conversely, in parallel with this, on the next slide, you can see that U.S. school districts bus route service cuts are leveling off as well. 8% of the districts reduced route service in 2013 versus 15% in 2012. So definitely the decrease in that is almost half, which is a really good indicator that a lot of the municipalities now have more money than they had in the past, that they're not only spending for new buses, but also bolstering their service parts inventories as well, which is going to be good for you guys. Does anyone have any questions at all at this point? Perfect. So the next slide is active route buses. So 43% of the top U.S. 50 contractors reported fleet size increases from the last available data, which was in 2013. And if we look at this particular chart, you have an increase of approximately 2,000 active route buses in the United States from 2013 from 2012. And we see the increase probably being similar, if not slightly increased, from 14 versus 13. And that data, when that data becomes available at the end of the year. Again, pointing to a very favorable trend in the market from a rebound standpoint economically, but also from a growth perspective for the industry as a whole. So great things on the horizon for all of us, I think, in terms of new buses. And last but not least, in this last section, we're going to talk a little bit about some of SOUNDOFF's lighting products and some of the information that we can get into your hands to help you guys be a lot more successful. One of the things that we've done is we have developed a school bus lighting diagram, and we've essentially developed that from response and feedback from a lot of our end-user customers and dealers like you. And essentially what this is a very handy-dandy specifier that lets you walk into any garage or any district, and you don't have to have a very extensive knowledge of our product, but this tool will allow you to specify our lights on the bus. And it's a really great no-brainer, handy-dandy tool. If you guys haven't had access to this or need it in terms of availability, Gina Moore has this available for you, and this is a real indispensable sales tool. I would highly encourage all of you to take advantage of this.
If you all need it, it is out there on Parts 123 on the SOUNDOFF site.
Yes.
And it's right there, so you can view it, print it, email it to your end user. It's at your disposal right there.
Yes, and also on the sheet itself, we have a sheet specifically for Bluebird that lists the OEM part numbers on new builds for the lights that come equipped with the connectors that mate with the harness system, and those lights are available through Gina through Parts 123 and Dropship. So those products that we provide to the line of the new builds rolling off the line in Fort Valley are available to you guys as well through Dropship, and those are detailed on this specification sheet that you guys see right here. So moving on to the next slide, we introduced a new series of lights back in January called the FA series into the aftermarket, and these have been very highly successful, and these are replacements for our RD series, and they're more competitively priced, but they also match or exceed the current specification standards of the prior lights. So as you can see, we offer many varieties of these lights, everything from warning lights to stop-tail turn, amber turn, and reverse lights for the 7-inch rounds. And in the 4-inch round lights, we have grommet mount lights and also flange mount lights and stop-tail turn, amber turn, and backup. And these particular lights carry a 5-year warranty, and these FA series lights are what we currently equip for the new builds rolling off the line out of Fort Valley for Bluebird.
Does your aftermarket lights have 5-year warranty as well?
You bet. Yeah, the aftermarket lights carry a 5-year warranty as well. Yep, you bet. Now, in terms of warranty, typically what you'll see if you guys are buying new buses, you typically will receive from Bluebird 1-year OEM manufacturer's warranty. And what we ask is if you have any issues, obviously, in the first 12 months after you bought the product, to make any of your claims directly through Bluebird because they offer the warranty. However, after that time period, if you have any issues, SOUNDOFF will honor the warranty for a time period up to a total of 5 years. So in this case, it would be an additional 4 years to give you the 5 years total. So absolutely. On this next slide, we have the C2 rear belt line lights, and these have been a new introduction as well over the past year. These have been pretty successful in the market. These are for the rear belt line of the C2 safety liner, and we offer these products in an amber turn, a red stop tail turn, and a white reverse. These feature 18 LEDs and an overmolded integrated connector that mates with the harness system for the C2 Thomas safety liner bus. Additionally, if you look at these lights, they have very, very good optics for off-angle viewing versus the competitive product, and we definitely are more competitively priced in the market than if you guys were to buy from Thomas Direct or Weldon. These lights are available through Gina as well on Bluebird Dropship. The next product that we feature is our Stop Arm LED retrofit lighting kit, and this has been a great product for us. This is a really high runner for us, great seller. As was alluded earlier in terms of safety, LED is highly more visible than incandescent, and as you all know, there's a huge hot button issue in the market right now regarding blow-bys or illegal passing violations where people are passing cars and, we're having all kinds of issues. Last year they polled over 100,000 bus drivers, and they netted about 74,000 illegal passing violations in a single day in the U.S., which was crazy. Some of which were on the right-hand side of the bus as kids were entering and exiting the bus. So what we offer into the market is a retrofit lighting kit that you can swap out those incandescent lights and replace them with LED lights, making it much more visible, which will decrease passing violations. We recently conducted a study down in Volusia County, Florida, which is one of the largest districts in Florida, and we did a controlled study with incandescent stop arm lights and then replacement lights with our LED, and they noticed a very, very substantial drop in the number of passing violations or blow-bys with LED versus the traditional incandescent. So, the bottom line is, guys, if I can save one kid's life with these lights, by implementing them on a stop arm, by making a driver stop, then, I've done my job, and everything's great. The kit itself is very competitively priced versus what's out there. We're one of the most competitively priced when you buy in volume for this product. We have a 2-year warranty, which is the best in the industry, to back it up as well. You can install this as a retrofit in about 10 minutes, and the kit consists of 4 12 LED lights and mounting screws and a wire harness. And it consists of 1 master light and 3 slaves, and if you want to change the flash patterns on the particular unit or system, you simply just cut a wire to change the flash pattern. So very, very simple to install, and it could make a huge difference. But this is probably one of our top 3 products that we sell into the aftermarket. It's been a great seller for us. And last but not least, we are offering a brand new product, which are 3/4 inch round bullet marker lights. For those of you who've seen some of the new Bluebird buses, these types of lights are being utilized in the header and the rear portion of the bus and the rear header. We have these available in red, amber, and white. They're a 3 LED light, and they come with about a 1/2 inch thick black rubber grommet, extraordinarily bright, and these are rated for PC, P2, and P3 as well. And these also carry a 5-year warranty. And we're going to be making these lights available to you guys through Bluebird Aftermarket and Dropship through Gina for part numbers. Probably in the next week we're going to get everything live with her. So this is a great new product, very competitively priced, and a lot of other OEMs are using these bullet lights as well. So with that concludes the presentation of all that I have to offer. I'm going to open it up now to any of you that may have any questions.
Mark, I got a couple questions. This is Joe.
You bet, Joe.
On your warranty, your 5-year warranty, I can't honestly say we really anything I know we're dealing with much at all. How are your stance regarding that? Are you guys warrantying many lights, or?
In terms of failure rate over the past 2 years or past year, our failure rate for LED failure has been less than 0.1% based on all of our returns. So for LED failure, no, we're not seeing really any types of warranty issues in the field. It does have a 5-year warranty if you do have any issues. As I stated before, We ask that you process your claim if it's a newly built bus for the first year through the OEM, such as Bluebird. But in addition to that, you will be provided a warranty up to a 5-year period, which would cover up to 4 additional years. So no, we haven't seen too many issues in the field. If the lights are installed correctly with the right amount of application torque, we recommend 10 to 20 inch-pounds of application torque for the 7-inch lights. You shouldn't really have any issues. And one thing that we did do, actually, from an engineering standpoint on our FA series lights, is we engineered into those screw boss holes a metal bushing to really mitigate any over-torquing issues that could lead to cracking of the lights or micro-fractures in the housing of the lights, which would cause an issue with ingress of water, because as soon as you get water into any light, that's the kiss of death. That's another reason why we only provide sealed lights as our products. We don't have lights that offer an interchangeable lens, because as soon as you remove that lens, by very nature, you're compromising the sealed integrity of the light, and it's not a question of if, but when water will get into the light. So hopefully, Joe, did that answer your question?
Yes. I think that's almost something you could market as, the low warranty rate, but 5 years kind of says it in itself. So.
Sure. And did you have another question?
I did. Do you offer any kind of flashlights? We deal with mechanics and sell them all the time, and even as a promotional thing, a headlamp. I see them in the market all the time, LED headlamps, either a magnetized light or some type of work light. Do you offer anything like that?
Unfortunately, I don't offer anything in terms of a flashlight or a headlamp light, like for somebody that's on the bottom of a creeper, but we do have an extensive line of spotlights and scene lights through our amber and white product line, and I've actually introduced those products to Gina, and those are available currently through Bluebird Dropship. So yes, we do have spotlights and area lights, and those are available in different beam patterns. So if you want to have a floodlight with a wide dispersed or wide beam pattern, we have that. Or if you want to have a spotlight with a more narrow concentrated beam, we also offer that as well as an option.
Is that 110 or is that 12 volt? What is it?
It's 10 to 16 volt. 10 to 16 volt, and it's all LED. That's all that we manufacture, LED lights, with the exception of some strobe tube inserts for headlights and also some strobe beacons. But I'd say probably about 99% of everything that I sell is LED.
The other thing I was going to ask is we've taken that one slide with the school buses on there and such and modified that and made a flyer out of it. It's on my website. At a time, would you look at that sometime and critique it for me? If there's anything, it's been really successful for us. We stopped until a lot of these lights, and if I could improve that, we're getting ready to do a new run on the printed flyer. And so if there's something you see on there that would you could suggest changing, it'd be helpful from maybe your perspective. So
you bet, Joe. I'd love to take a look.
The only other comment I have is, whoever thought of your part number pattern needs to be whipped, man. Yes, I know. I've never heard that order. It's horrible. Yes. The thing I can tell you about our part number system is that it resides primarily with one individual, and you are not the only one who has stated that. It is not probably the most efficient way to order products. That was said mostly tongue-in-cheek, though, Mark, so don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. I understand. There is a slight method to the madness, but if I explain it anymore, you'd probably go mad, so. Yeah, that's no problem. Thank you. Yeah, does anyone else have any other further questions? There is one other thing that I'd like to add, one other product that you guys might not be aware of that we offer, and we offer a bus lamp monitor that goes inside of the bus that shows you an indicator of which lights are functioning and when they're functioning. And it's a universal bus lamp monitor, meaning that you can use it for traditional incandescent, halogen, or LED lighting products. That's another pretty good seller of ours that's used pretty extensively in the market.
Mark, I think from this morning it bears repeating for those that weren't on this morning's for cross-referencing from incandescent. If somebody's got buses or a fleet, if they're cross-referencing from incandescent lights to LEDs, how to do that by using the school bus chart. They can easily refer back to that school bus chart.
Yes. A question did come up this morning about cross-referencing and retrofitting LED lights for a bus for incandescent. And essentially, the person asked, is there anything special that I have to do to retrofit, an LED light on it to swap out an incandescent on a typical bus? And the answer was no, not really. I mean, in terms, for example, if you're going to be swapping out a 7-inch light on the bus, you're essentially just going to be unscrewing it and disconnecting it from the harness. The new light, you're either going to be adding the connector and adding to the harness, or in most cases, probably 99% of the time on an older bus, you're probably going to just do a butt splice. But no special buck boost transformer or anything's required in that realm. And then in terms of the cross reference, Gina does have available on the website through Parts 123, I believe, Gina. A cross reference database where you can input that information. And you can also utilize our handy-dandy cheat sheet that you guys saw earlier, to kind of give you guys a lay of the land on the bus in terms of what you guys should be specifying, and that's a great tool that you can use as well.
Yeah, SoundOff has helped us. We did this about a year ago with some competitive part numbers. Like others, what you would do is simply put in, I guess there was about 100 to 150 competitive part numbers, so if you simply drop those in to Parts 123 under the Sound Off Signal page, drop those in, and it will return a Sound Off Signal part to you. If it doesn't, you get a no part found by dropping that in. Please send it in or give Sound Off a call. They may have that information, we may have that information available now, and updates come in regularly. So please let us know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and to add to what Gina said, guys, I mean, if you ever find that you're kind of scratching your head or you can't find any information, please contact us or Gina directly, and we'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Also, in addition to that, if you guys are working on any large fleet deals where you guys have volume, please contact Gina or myself, and we can talk about potential pricing relief for large volume purchase. So definitely something that's in the cards based on substantial volume for fleet size, massive fleet size. Also, to close, we are running a promotion effective until the end of this month where you guys can receive 10 points or 10% off. And, I would highly encourage all of you to take advantage of it, specifically with some of the other products that were mentioned previously. That Stop Arm Retrofit's a great product, the C2 lights, bullet markers, which are going to be introduced very shortly, and the F8 series lights. So if you guys have any purchases that you're going to want to make, or you have any customers that may have some monies that are left towards the end of the year, beginning of the year, this is really now the time to make those purchases before the end of the month.
Thank you for reminding them.
Any further questions, guys?
I'm good.
All's well?
I'm good.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, if you think of anything after today's presentation, please do not hesitate to reach out to your RPM, myself, or reach out to Mark or the folks at SoundOff. Everyone here would be happy to assist you with your needs. And Mark, thank you again for joining us today and with the wealth of information. And most of all, thank you and all the folks at SoundOff for your wonderful support to Bluebird Parts and Service, and most especially, thank you for everything you do for our Bluebird dealers. Everyone, thanks for joining us today. Have a great afternoon.
You bet. I wanted to just thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules today. I know you guys are all probably need to hit the bricks and sell, so thank you again for taking the time out of your day, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.